Well, hey everyone, Dylan here, and welcome to that WrestleMania tour. I think on Raw, if I'm not mistaken, they announced the full cards finally. So that's honestly what I was waiting for, is just the show that they finally announced everything. So anyway, here's my predictions for it. Ready? So we got, obviously, Rock and Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. That's going to be a hard one to predict because I have like 4 different outcomes, but I'm going to go down the rabbit hole of like, this would be the best case scenario to signify this as like the best WrestleMania, right? So, Cody Rhodes needs to lose this match, because if that gives the Bloodline the advantage, that puts a ripple in it. Plus, you could do a thing where, like, maybe Seth betrays him. See, that's the thing about this. It's so beautiful because there's so many variables that could happen. Because, you know, Seth and Cody still have that little feud that they always had. And that would give Cody something to do if they wanted to, like, lengthen Roman's reign for a bit. Or you can take the sensible route and have Cody finish a story, like my prediction actually is going to be, and have him and Seth beat the Rock and Roman. But I can't see Roman losing 2 nights in a row. I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't know if this is the order it's in, but this is just the order I'm seeing it in, so I'm tackling it like this. There's the Women's World Championship match where Rhea Ripley takes on Becky Lynch. So, I think I read somewhere, which this could like ruin most of the show just going off of what you have read. I think Seth is going to take some time off after Mania. So maybe, just maybe, that means that by proxy Becky will too. So I just hope Rhea wins, honestly, because I'm biased and I don't think it's Becky's time. She's already had one moment. I don't think this is exactly her moment either. They should have had Last Woman Standing match, though, instead of her and Nia. I get why her and Nia did, but I think it should have been Rhea and Becky. Either that or she should have had it at WrestleMania. Then we got the Intercontinental Champion Gunter, the Ring General, against Sami Zayn. Right, so just to reiterate, including the Rhea versus Becky match, if what I say doesn't come true and the opposite happens, I'm still going to be happy, honestly. But I feel like Sammy's just not the guy to beat Gunter, especially with something that just popped up out of nowhere. I think that they should continue building up Chad Gable into this guy who's like, listen, I know what it takes to defeat Gunter if I just get one more shot. But he keeps on, for whatever reason, not getting that one shot. I think they need to build him into that guy to defeat him maybe at next WrestleMania. That would be interesting. It doesn't have to be that long. Maybe even SummerSlam, really. And then we got the match of the night I'm honestly the most excited for, aside from Bloodline matches. We got Jay versus Jimmy, brother versus brother, yeet versus no yeet, where, this has so many variables that could affect other matches. Because, like, if it's just Jay versus Jimmy, like they're doing right now, no swerves happen, no changes, I'm gonna say Jimmy needs something. So I feel like this is gonna be Jimmy's time. But it would make sense if Jay wins. But also, like, theoretically speaking, Jay betrays Cody and Seth. That could put a wrench into that, where they plan on having this match, and then Seth and Cody come out and interrupt it, and that builds to something. But it's also Mania. This is where payoffs need to happen. And this Jay versus Jimmy program has been a thing teased for a while. And then we got the 6-pack ladder match between Priest and Balor versus Awesome Truth versus DIY versus New Day versus New Catch Republic versus A-Town Down Under. But I think A-Town Down Under either got taken out or something, and there's rumors that, like, everybody and their brother might show up, including, like, Motor City Machine Guns, I think, including, like, the Dudleys. It was even rumored for a bit, like, the Hardys, but that can't happen. So who do I think's going to win? I think whoever shows up in that spot has a possibility of winning, but if we're going off of the list right now, Is it time that Judgment Day lose? I think this needs to be the start of the cracks and turning Priest a full babyface. So I think him and Finn need to lose a title. Do I think anybody in here should win it? Let's go down the list. Awesome Truth, with all due respect, no, they're a comedy tag team. They don't need titles to elevate them. DIY, it would be great, but I feel like their position is they're the solid team who's relied on to pull out stellar matches. New Day, they're always a sturdy team to pull off a tag team title run. So sure, with a question mark, but it'd be the predictable route. New Catch Republic, I think, would be the best variable in this card, considering they're the new team. They're getting a little bit of momentum. Put the titles on them. Have them break out, so to speak. And if A-Town Down's still in there, or A-Town Down Under, if they're still in there, they don't need titles. They're just cowardly shithills. They don't need the titles. Hey everyone, editing Dylan here. So I just realized two things. Number one, related to this match, I forgot that the titles technically could be won by two teams, and they're probably going to split up Raw and SmackDown's titles. So whoever I said were the two teams that deserve to win, just give New Catch the SmackDown ones, and the other ones, let's just say they go to Raw, if it makes sense. The other thing is that I didn't do the pre-show or anything like that, at this point. So I don't even know the pre-show, but just presume there's a bunch of people that's going to win, a bunch of people that's going to lose. Okay, back to the review. Then we got the 3v3, I think if I counted right, of Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill versus Damage Control. And that one's predictable, that Jade's not going to fucking lose her first match. He says hopefully. So I'm going to give it to Bianca, Naomi, and Jade. Then we got Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee representing the LWO versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. I hope this leads to like Dom retiring Rey somehow. That would be crazy. Honestly, I see Santos and Dom winning just because we need some heels winning. Is that the only heel team I have? Maybe Jimmy. Maybe Gunter. Because honestly, that match could go either way, but Gunter would make more sense. I have Rhea. Okay, honestly, I have it about half and half. Maybe a little bit more towards the heels, but that's just me naturally. And then we have night number 2's card. I'll end with the one that everybody knows about because I got a lot to say about that. But apparently Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits are facing the Final Testament. That's going to be a match that nobody's invested in because they haven't given them enough time to be invested in them. So I'm going to say flip a coin. Let's go with... I'm biased towards the Final Testament, so let's say the Final Testament, but I get it if they give Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits a babyface win. Then we got LA Knight, versus AJ Styles. LA Knight needs to win to get some momentum back, but also if AJ can afford to eat another loss. I don't think LA Knight can. Then we got the U.S. Championship triple threat match between the Paul brother versus Orton versus Owens. I feel like this is going to be one of those things that like either Orton's or Owens is going to be close to winning the title, and then the other one's going to turn and cost them the title, but then subsequently they're going to cost themselves the title as well. So unfortunately, I think the Paul brother is going to retain due to shenanigans, but I really want either Orton or Owens to win, honestly. Either one of them deserve it. Then we got Iyo Sky versus Bayley. Gosh, I can't wait to see this play out through the next year. This is going to be a sweet feud. Bayley's going to win, but that's just because there's more variables if Bayley wins. Because if Iyo retains, then Bayley doesn't have a shot, and if she doesn't have a shot, she's just going to have like job matches against Dakota Kai, and maybe Dakota Kai eventually comes back to her side and they do a tag team thing against the Kabuki Warriors. But ultimately, I think it would make more sense if they prolonged that by having Bayley win this, and then Bayley let's say like next SmackDown, Io's like, I want my title match back, I want my rematch, whatever. And then Dakota's like, you know what? No, I'll take care of her. And then that kind of causes a rift there. And then eventually Bayley keeps on beating Dakota because she's more experienced. And then Dakota gets kicked out of Damage Control. And Bayley's like, hey, sorry about all the bad blood. And Dakota says that to her. They become a tag team. Listen, I'm fantasy booking at this point. Let's go on the next one. Your probably co-main event was Seth versus Drew. If reports are to be believed about Seth winning time off, then obviously Drew's going to win. But me personally, I think Drew needs to win, because if not, he's just going to be a whiny heel that's like, oh, I deserve to have this, and there's going to be no validation to his whininess. So Drew needs this win more than Seth does, in my opinion. Then we have the main event. For the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, we have Reigns versus Cody. I'm so torn on this, because the thing that makes the most sense is to say Cody needs to win. Duh. But the thing I kind of want them to do is I want them to have Roman win. Yeah, I want them to have Roman win. And I want this to continue on, because I don't see it happening, considering Reigns is kind of closing up on this title run. But I think there is so much of a fun storyline they can still pull out of Cody Rhodes being eventually coming back to that. Like, let's say shenanigans happens and Seth actually cost him, and somehow Seth retains the title. And then you got a program there where Cody can win the second championship. And then that builds up to eventually Roman running his mouth being like, oh, you're not good enough to beat me, but at least you got the prize title. And then that leads into something. You know, there's all these variables that could happen. But what I think is going to happen is Cody wins, because that makes the most sense. Either way, this is going to be possibly the craziest WrestleMania. I know it's the one that I've been the most anticipated for in a long ass time, and I hope that it pays off. So I don't know when this is going to be uploaded, but I'll see you Friday or Saturday or Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, or I'll see you one of these days for either a SmackDown, Raw, or WrestleMania maybe review. All right, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.